What if I told you that the way we've been coaching athletes for decades is, well, fundamentally flawed? That all those drills, all that perfect practice, might actually be making players worse when things get chaotic. Today, we are going to dive into a model that completely flips coaching on its head. It's all about moving away from programmed robots and toward creating intuitive, adaptable problem solvers. So just look at this. You've got two kinds of athletes. Over on the left, you have the robot. This player is absolutely flawless in a controlled practice. But the minute the game gets messy, they just fall apart. Then on the right, you have the problem solver. This is the player who seems to thrive when everything's going crazy. Now, here's the really uncomfortable truth. Most coaching, for years, has been designed to build the robot, not the problem solver. And that right there is the big coaching conundrum. We spend all these hours trying to perfect one single move, thinking we're building these incredible masters of the sport. But what if all that time spent on perfect practice is actually creating athletes who are brittle? Athletes who just shatter the second they're put under real pressure. So how does this even happen? Well, it's all about what you could call the if X, then Y trap. Traditional coaching drills this into athletes over and over. If the defender does this, you do that. It's simple, it's clean, and it's basically turning a creative human being into a piece of computer code. Right. But what happens when the game just completely rips up the playbook? Because let's be honest, in a real game, it always does. That simple if-then logic just crashes and the robot starts to glitch. And that's the moment athletes freeze up, make costly mistakes, and, end up losing the game. So, to break out of this trap, we don't need better, more complex drills. We need a totally new way of seeing. And the key to this is a really fascinating scientific concept called affordances. So what in the world is an affordance? The easiest way to think about it is like a silent invitation from the world around you. A doorknob, for example, it affords pulling. A stair affords climbing. It isn't a conscious decision you have to make. It's just an opportunity the world presents directly to you. Okay, so let's take this idea onto the field. That gap you see in the defense, it's not a problem you need to analyze. It's an invitation. It affords running. That huge, towering defender isn't just an obstacle. Their height affords a low pass around them. And an open teammate, they're not just a data point in a complex calculation. Their presence is a direct invitation to pass the ball. And this is the part that will absolutely blow your mind. The truly elite athletes aren't thinking in the way we usually mean it. They aren't running through a checklist of options. They are simply and directly perceiving these affordances, these invitations, and they're acting on them instantly. It's like a direct line from their eyes to their bodies, completely bypassing the slow, clunky part of the brain. So this all sounds great, but how do you actually coach it? How do you train an athlete to see the game this way instead of just doing what they're told? Well, this is where the brilliant work of Albert Tan comes in, with his model, the Cognitive Affordance Architecture, or CAA for short. The goal of CAA isn't to add more plays to the playbook. The goal is to fundamentally change how the athlete's eyeballs work. It's kind of like tuning an old radio to a brand new frequency, one that allows them to suddenly pick up on all these hidden signals, all these affordances that were there the entire time. This slide says it all. Seriously, if you remember one thing from this, make it this quote: "Stop teaching the play, start teaching the affordance. Coach the opportunity that makes the action possible in the first place." Okay, so you're probably wondering, how on earth do you teach someone to see? And the answer is wonderfully counterintuitive. You don't give them more information, you actually add constraints. It's a 3-step process, and it totally changes the coach's job. First, you become an architect. You design the training environment. Second, you become a game designer. You start altering the rules to create new puzzles. And third, and this is definitely the hardest part, you just have to get out of the way and let the players discover the solutions on their own. This is one of my favorite examples of a constraint. Imagine in a sport like volleyball or handball, you just make up a new rule. A point only counts if the ball bounces first. All of a sudden, the most obvious action, like a powerful spike, is totally useless. Players are forced to see the court in a new light, to find different ways to score, to discover these hidden affordances for soft touches and clever placement. And this quote right here, it gets to the absolute heart of the mindset shift. A traditional coach sees a player who's overthinking and tries to fix them from the inside out. They'll say, "Hey, stop thinking so much." A CAA coach, on the other hand, tries to fix the player from the outside in. They see overthinking and they ask themselves, how can I change the game so that thinking isn't even necessary? So ultimately, this whole thing is about tearing up the playbook. It's about building genuine problem solvers, not just obedient robots. It's about cultivating athletes who can create a bit of magic in the moment, not just repeat something they learned in practice last week. It really all boils down to this. Traditional coaching teaches you what to do, CEA coaching teaches you how to see. One approach creates followers who execute a plan, the other creates leaders who change the game. And this is so much bigger than sports. Just think about it. Think about how we teach music, or how we run our businesses, or even how we raise our kids. How often are we just teaching the mechanics, the simple if-then rules, when we should be designing environments that unlock true spontaneous intuition? Now that's a question worth thinking about.